What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and this is the RoK Music Review, your place to discover and discuss Korean music. And I'm here with the weekly review, the RoK Weekly Review, where we take a look back and we highlight some of the things that happened with my YouTube channel over the last week, specifically comments and that kind of stuff. And we also just kind of discuss and summarize what happened in Korean music for the last week as far as stuff that I covered and other stuff like that. So let's get into it with the first segment, which is the flop of the week. And we're highlighting a comment here, and this is specifically a comment or reply to a comment that somebody left on my reaction video for Sohyun's debut song, writes, "Don't Say No." And well, basically the comment is "Don't say no," which we're going to put this down in the video. We're going to put a little graphic here and we'll show you. So and then the part that I really want to reply to with this is the sentence that says, "Guess what? She won the number one with this song, lol. I think you don't like SNSD, lol." And the response to this and why it's a flop is why I'm labeling this specific comment here as the flop of the week is once again kind of highlighting for me, as I've done in a previous weekly review video, where it's kind of an aspect of the K-pop fandom at large that I don't particularly enjoy so much, and that is, you don't like one song, so that means that you are an anti-fan of X group. In the most extreme sense, when people start going, batshit insane. Or in the most mild sense, at least the way that this was phrased, is like, oh, you didn't like this song, so you obviously don't like this group. And that, I mean, you can't just like infer that from one release. And also, so to think about this, right, with this particular instance, with this particular person, if they had gone to a reaction video that I'd done for Hyoyeon or Tiffany or Jessica or Taeyeon or basically like any other SM solo release or anything like that, they wouldn't be saying, "I don't think you like Girls' Generation," because they would have no reason to think that, right? Where, the actual truth and the actual logical, conclusion to be drawn is you just don't like this song. Or, I mean, if you really want to be dramatic, you just don't like this person. I don't like Soyeon, right? That's really the most logical thing. Not to just expand that out to say that I don't like the group that she's a part of. Right? It just isn't. It isn't. To me, it doesn't make any logical sense how you can make that connection. Right? I don't like a song by Sohyun, which means that I don't like Girls' Generation. I don't understand how that makes any sense. I don't understand how that's actually a thing. Where people like to trot out this thing is like, oh, you don't like X song, you just aren't a fan of you just don't like this group. So that's why you don't like their music. No, I mean, I judge every group, every song, or every group on a song-by-song basis. The perfect example of that is Twice, where I didn't like their debut song. I wasn't a big fan of it. And you go to Today with TT, and I actually like that song, and I like the album. Right? So I took my opinion, and I judged the group on a song-by-song basis. And since their debut song, I've got my enjoyment of that song and the amount that I like that group has grown by each release from then. So, like, and it's a thing. Of course, the people who are watching this are the ones that have probably listened to me the most and actually understand what I'm getting at more than people who just casually come by and leave drive-by comments like this. On my videos, so you already get this, but like it just doesn't apply to me, because you just cannot make that connection. Like, you didn't like this song, so thus you don't like this person. It's like, no, not unless they particularly release a string of songs consistently, and as far as what I actually really feel about Girls' Generation is, like, I don't particularly enjoy their music other than Run Devil Run. But I don't dislike them either. I'm just indifferent. I just, they haven't released music that I'm like a huge, massive fan of, but they haven't released any music that I just like, I really do not like that. I just cannot stand listening to it, you know, because there are songs that are out there in the world, in every genre and stuff, that I'm just like, no, it just isn't my thing. I just don't like it. Please do not play that around me. I don't like it, you know. But Girls' Generation has never released one of those songs. You know, like, I would prefer to not hear Lionheart. I wouldn't choose to listen to Lionheart, but I wouldn't be like, turn that off if somebody started playing Lionheart in my presence, you know, and I wouldn't make a scene out of it, you know. So it's not like I don't like Girls' Generation. I don't enjoy their music, but I don't dislike them, right? Which, I don't know, I guess maybe I'm getting into, you know, too much into like the semantics and the actual, like, you know, words that are being used, which is probably definitely true considering the person I would assume is not a native English speaker. But I mean, it's just like some people have to take a second to like actually think about the differences and what they're getting at and what they actually think and feel, to come to something, to come to a conclusion or something that actually makes any sense about this, you know. And I mean, this it isn't really, you know, on the same level as, you know, what I'd criticized in the previous video, but like, come on, just like put an extra little second of thought in this, or just, you know, stop reaching at straws to try and, you know, label me as a Girls' Generation hater or something like that, because I'm not, right? I don't hate any group. There's no group that I will ever, you know, say is garbage, because there is no group that is garbage. There's no music that is garbage, right? It just is the fact of life, because music and art is subjective. Thus, that means that there is no such thing as bad music. Unless, of course, you're just breaking all of the rules and laws of music, then that's bad. I mean, you know, that's the only way that there can be bad music, is if just like it just doesn't follow any of the rules of music. So that's my you know, flop of the week, the response to that comment right there, because it's just like those little things sometimes, you know, that just like take me off, right? It's like, what are you talking about? What is your point? What are you getting at, right? Other than that, you just apparently are offended by that I don't like a song, and so then you just say that I don't like the group. Okay, it's wrong. It's not true. So that's that. So that's the flop of the week. One comment there. Now it's time to just do a little comment response, highlight some of the best comments, my favorite comments that I got on my videos, and we're gonna save the one that I've got the biggest response to for the end, because it's kind of actually a little bit similar to the flop of the week. And all of these, understandably, because I made a pretty large amount of videos on this song, are all relating to Red Velvet's song, and that is that. So the first comment is on my song review from Ricardo. Oh Jesus, your last name, so many vowels in places that are awkward, but we got it up on the screen anyway, so I don't have to say it. And the reason why I just absolutely love this comment, it's just so huge and too long for me to actually, you know, read out for you guys. But the reason that I like it is because it's so like actually in depth as to, you know, explaining like what this person's individual expectations were before the song was released, you know, what they like about it, what they don't like about it, you know, just like so thorough and in depth as to, you know, basically what they thought and how it changed, you know, going from before the, you know, pre-release of the song all the way to listening to it, you know, more than once. And it's really, really great, you know, just to see that thought process and stuff like that, because that's what I shared in my video, right? So to see somebody kind of actually detail that kind of stuff is really, really awesome. I love it. I want to see more people do stuff like that. Just in general, you know, leave some comments, you know, just going in depth, and it's really, really great. It was literally the only comment on that video that had anything, you know, relating to why they did or didn't like that song. So I definitely do appreciate that very, very much. The second comment that I want to highlight is where is the song, or is a comment from Infamous Hamster. It's two repeated twice, which is basically saying like, isn't it adorable how we swoon over European accents but can't stand some others? You know, just based on the arbitrary geography of your birth, of your birth. Because I personally don't like it when they incorporate English and Asian songs, but when they do, prefer the accents and idiosyncratic influences of the culture, which is actually a pretty interesting, I guess, thing and topic to talk about. But of course, I mean, it really comes down to personal preference, right? It's like, I don't think that, I mean, I guess there's a lot of people that just go like, oh my God, he's got a British accent. It's so hot. It's so attractive. Oh my God. You know, but I don't really look at it that way. You know, I really don't. And, you know, in this instance, of course, is referring to, you know, me being like, oh my God, you're pronouncing rookie with like an L, with like it's spelled with an L instead of an R. And, you know, that, and I understand the reason for that, right? Because it's Korean and that's how they say it in the Korean language. But I mean, you know, of course, my big hang up with that, and of course the initial thing was like the title of the song or the music video online didn't have any Korean in it, especially when it you know, was related to the title of the song. So that's why I was like, whoa, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you do this? And then it was just like so over the top with the frequency of the use of the word that I was like, wow, this sucks. But ultimately, you know, I realize and I can think about what all this means, and I realize that like, hey, they're doing the thing, you know, they're doing it the way that they are because it's Korean, and, you know, whatever, you listen to K-pop, you gotta deal with like the Korean pronunciations of loan words that they've taken upon, you know, into their language, that they've assimilated into their language from English, and, you know, that's the way it goes. And it's like, I personally, right, I don't think I really have a preference for, you know, an accent one way or another. You know, it's just, you know, I personally don't really think that, you know, one accent is inherently more attractive than another, or I have a preference. I just don't, you know. What really matters to me is that like I'm actually able to understand what they're saying. And so, you know, if anyone was saying, you know, what they were saying in the Red Velvet song, it's like I wouldn't have any damn idea what they were talking about, you know. But, you know, that's just, you know, of course, my perspective as someone who speaks English, you know, fluently, because it is my first language. It's what I grew up speaking, and that's just it's just that. And I don't know, I don't speak Korean. I'm not, you know, surrounded and immersed in that language, so I just don't have that frame of reference. So that's all. And it's actually a really, you know, good comment, and actually really, really like thought-provoking comments. Like I personally wouldn't have expected anyone to be like, whoa, you know, isn't it interesting how some people, or how a lot of people, the majority of people like you know, this specific, you know, accent, whereas others don't like this one, and it's all kind of based off of, you know, whatever, you know, this is. And it's like, that's actually pretty thought-provoking to have in a, I think, and especially considering my, you know, influence and my experience, I should say, with comments on my videos, and like that's actually kind of like, you know, thought-provoking and much more like, I guess, intellectual than just about anything else that I've gotten, any sort of comments that I've gotten. It definitely is right up there, I would say, in the top 5. So that's definitely something cool. And then we're moving on to the final comment that I want to highlight. And again, it's kind of something that is interesting and similar to the flop of the week, something that I would just want to point out and I guess criticize. So this comes to again, it's a comment that's actually a reply to someone who said that that Red Velvet, that Rookie, is Red Velvet's worst song. And, you know, their reply is, you know, because everyone of course said, no, this isn't their worst song. I actually like this song, right? Which is, you know, completely fair. You know, and then you do a little exchange, and then the person who left the original comment was like, you know, I just think it is. Maybe it's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. And so this person leaves the comment that's like, yeah, it's your opinion, with no punctuation, by the way, which is makes it very difficult to read. Yeah, it's your opinion. Basically saying this is not for international fans, and of course, it's for Koreans, and Koreans are loving it, and, you know, that blah blah blah, talking about, and then I don't get why the Korean news sites and talking about BS and stuff about international, about whatever, is even relevant. But, and this is the part that I actually want to reply to and kind of like criticize, because there is the aspect here that it says that, those Korean news sites are always talking BS about K-pop idols, and as you can see, the only comments are from international fans, in quotation marks. Korean K-pop fans can't stand international fans, and I don't blame them. And that really sounds to me, like those people, like people who have like this guilt of like, oh my god, I'm an international K-pop fan, or oh my god, I'm anything, and everyone else is just so terrible, and it's so embarrassing to be an international K-pop fan. It sounds like a little self-hatred or self-loathing because you're a part of a group that, for some reason, you find to be, embarrassing or something. And I mean, I don't get that, and it kind of plays to, once again, a topic that I talked about in a previous video, where there's this sense of tribalism within the K-pop, community with fans. Especially the most crazy fan, or the most, I guess, I don't know about crazy, but there are people who are very, very committed to whatever it is that they decide that they like. And the sense of tribalism is just absolutely insane to me. And I honestly wouldn't say that Korean K-pop fans can't stand international fans. I would say that it's probably equal on both sides, that there's a segment of Korean fans that do not like international fans. And surprise, there are segments of international fans that do not like Korean fans. Because both sides are a little batshit insane at times, right? People are, Koreans are extreme, international fans are extreme. They leave crazy, insane comments. It's just ridiculous. And to kind of like with that comment, right, and kind of pit one side against each other, or the other, is like, just stop. The tribalism in K-pop, man, it needs to stop, man. There is like, I get that you like your group, but it doesn't mean that you gotta be like super defensive and attack anyone who says that they don't like your song, or be like, oh my god, international fans are so embarrassing, I can't believe that they leave all these comments and stuff about K-pop news stuff. I was like, well, newsflash, Korean fans also do the same thing. You just don't fucking understand it, and it doesn't get translated for you, so you have no idea that it exists. You live in an international K-pop fan bubble. You do not know a damn thing about what Korean fans do and do not think, and what they do and do not say on the internet. Pretty sure you don't. So, to be embarrassed by the behavior of international fans and being like, Koreans don't like us because we behave like fools. It's like, well, they, and again, without me actually knowing anything, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that they also equally behave like fools to, equally as much as international fans do. Everybody does. That's just the way that it is. In any group of people anywhere, whether it's, politics or music or art or anything, who likes, there could be a group of people who are for and against free hugs, and there will be people on either side of that argument that behave ridiculously and are embarrassing, and just the other side finds weird and crazy, and like, why would you say and think that stuff, right? But that's not a picture that you want to paint everybody with. It's just a thing. It's like, it all plays, like I said, into the tribalism that is just present, and there's a serious, I think, undercurrent in K-pop, where people align with whatever group, whether it's an idol group, or I'm an international fan, or I'm a Korean fan, and as a result, I can't stand this group of people, But this person here is like, Korean fans can't stand international fans, and I don't blame them, because, even though I'm an international fan, I think kind of behaving a little ridiculously, they're so embarrassing. I can't stand that I'm a part of their group. There's a little bit of the self-loathing right there, I think, which is funny to me. So now to finish it off, so that's the final comment that I want to highlight to finish it off, the songs of the week. We're going to talk about this briefly, really quick. Hopefully in less than 10 minutes. We want to start off with Shin Ji-hoon and her comeback song called "You Are a Star Already." And I don't specifically remember if she'd released anything since a year or two ago, but she kind of disappeared from Cube, and then of course she's popped up. The music video has a watermark for a different entertainment company, so I don't know what's going on. I guess I lost track of her and what her career is doing. But the song's nice, and it's nice to see her back, see that she's back, because I actually liked her. She's a really her music is enjoyable. Her vocals are enjoyable. Her ballads are enjoyable, and that is that. So moving on from that to a song from RoK. I hate his name because it's so weird for me to say, but his song "Miss You," really, really good. Some really, really awesome vocals that are put on display there, and it's great. I mean, I'm not really a fan of ballads. I'm not gonna listen to it super, a lot, but I definitely, do enjoy it very, very much. And then, so that we got the two big releases of the week. And we got Zion T with the song and his album, the first release since he signed with YG Entertainment. It was a big deal. It was a very, very big deal. And I was looking forward to this simply, at the very least, because I wanted to see what YG was going to do with him. What was going to happen with Zion T since he joins, YG. And honestly, I don't think that much has changed. I don't think he's gotten, noticeably, better as a, artist or something like that. Maybe he has, and I just don't know it because I don't have the knowledge, or I just haven't noticed yet. But I don't know. I mean, Zion T, and the music is always good, and the song was good, and the album is also good. And then Red Velvet and Rookie. I mean, I've talked about this song just like to death this week, and it's a good song. It's not my favorite Red Velvet song, but it's a pretty decent song. So that's really that. Rubber Soul and their comeback song, I think this is their first comeback song, called Freedom, because they debuted like 2 years ago and then they dropped off the face of the planet. Don't know what happened to them. They might have died and they might have been resurrected, and the group that we see today are just zombies. They're looking very good for zombies, but they could be zombies. Who knows? Maybe they should be tested. Who knows? But their song "Freedom" is actually a really, really good song. It's like it's a song that everyone's gonna sleep on because Rubber Soul, they made their debut. They disappeared for 2 years. Their debut song was cool. It was interesting. It was a different little. They were bringing a little bit of a different flavor to K-pop at the time, and and then they dropped away and people forgot about them, and now they're back and people are gonna sleep on this song, and they definitely should not, because it's actually a really good song. It's also girl group, a trio of girls, I think, bringing something a little bit different to K-pop. Actually, not a little bit, pretty different to K-pop from the rest of the groups that are out there. And then we're gonna finish it off with the group with the first comeback, the first single album, whatever, from a Mask, called Tina. And I'm just like underwhelmed, I guess. I'm not particularly like excited or impressed or anything like this. I just don't feel strongly one way or another. The song's good, the song's not bad. It's just whatever. That's the way that it goes. So that is it. Those are the three segments, the three segments of things that I wanted to talk about. I think that, going forward for every single week, we'll have a little bit of a comeback watch or an upcoming release watch. I think comeback watch seems to be the most appropriate name for the segment, which, I'll be keeping track of that stuff. It'll be good for me to keep an eye on what's coming up in the future, so I'm not surprised every day. And then, of course, it'll be a good way to keep you guys up to date as well, if you would like. So we'll be doing that, keeping track of news and stuff like that. And there'll be a new segment that's hopefully is going to roll out next week. And so that's going to be that. So that is it for this week's edition of the RoK Weekly Review. Hope that you enjoyed it. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, just leave a comment or something telling me, suggesting a new segment that you want to see, or telling me whether or not you think that the comeback watch segment is a good idea. Maybe a different name suggestion for that. Whatever. Leave that stuff down in the comments below, or through social media on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram if you really want to do Instagram. I got links to all those profiles, to all of that stuff down in the description box below. So, check the description. There's a bunch of cool links that you should definitely click on and follow. So that is going to be it for this video. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.